Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. I am so glad you're here. My name is Kelsey Derringer, and I am the Professional Development Coordinator for BirdBrain Technologies. And normally that means that I get to travel around the country and teach teachers coding and robotics, but nobody's really traveling right now. So now I get to teach teachers and parents and kids directly at home coding and robotics. So we're going to be doing some really cool projects today. Specifically, we're going to be making this cool robotic arm behind me. And even if you don't have a Hummingbird robot at home, we are still going to have a chance to make a non-robotic version of that. But if you do have a Hummingbird at home, you'll get to make a robot version. Let me introduce my friend and coworker, Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing very well. I'm really excited to answer some questions that come in from Facebook and YouTube.
That's right. So Matt is our director and producer, and he is also our Facebook monitor. So if you're watching live on Facebook and you want to contribute to part of the class, either with a comment like, oh, I really like what Tanya made, that's so cool, or I have a quick question for Kelsey, you can do that live on Facebook, and Matt will find those things and he will let us know what those questions are so you can participate fully that way. So you know me, you know Matt, but there's also a few other people here in our Zoom classroom as well. So I'm going to go to gallery view and I'm going to cancel my spotlight so you can see all the other people who are here. Hi, other students. How's it going? I would love, since we are going to be making a muscles and bones project today, I'd love for you guys to introduce yourselves so you can unmute yourselves, say just your first name, not your last name, and say an interesting injury you've had, because we were talking about that before we started streaming, and it was a pretty cool discussion. So would anybody like to introduce themselves? If so, raise your hand like a Tatcha, and then we'll unmute you and spotlight you so you can say your name and a cool injury you've had. We're going to go to Peyton first. Go ahead, Peyton.
So one time when I was 3, I busted my eyebrow open. So, and then we had to go to the emergency room because it was like banged open, like right here. And my dad and brother were actually eating oysters when that happened.
They were like, "You'll be fine. You seem tough, Peyton.
Rub it off."
Yeah, walk it off. Walk it off.
No.
Who else would like to introduce themselves? Raise your hand. I'd love to meet some more people. Let's go to Army Lee. And Army Lee, will you tell us your name too? You can unmute yourself.
My name is Karis, but
that's right. Hi, Karis. Welcome back.
One time I dislocated my elbow.
You dislocated your elbow, and Karis, is your name Carys? Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. And you dislocated your elbow. That used to happen to me when I was a kid too. I used to dislocate my shoulder sometimes. That's like super painful. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I'm glad you're okay now. That's great. Who else would like to introduce themselves and tell us an interesting injury you've had? How about Connor and Sophia? We'll come up to you guys. You can unmute yourself and then tell us an interesting injury you've had.
So my name's Sophia, and an interesting, well, not really injury, but something that happened to me was I cut myself on a plastic folder when I was taking it out of my desk at school.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how.
And I'm Connor, and the interesting injury I had is when I burnt myself with a hot glue gun.
And you still have that burn, right? Do you want to show us off and tell us why
It was from a few days ago. He was exaggerating when he said 2 weeks.
Ouch. Yeah. So that's why we need to be careful with our hot glue guns, friends. Who else would like to introduce themselves? Raise your hand by sticking your hand right in front of the camera. Let's go to the people that are labeled Anita. It looks like I'm seeing double. Do you guys want to unmute yourselves and tell us your names?
My name's Liam. I'm from Ireland, and it's my twin brother Oisin. And when I was about 5, we were driving out of the state, and my dad forgot to close the car door, so my leg was sticking out of the car.
Oh no! You still have the leg?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. That's good. And then what's your brother's name? Can you spell it for us?
Oisin.
Sticking out.
Can you spell it?
It's Oisin.
Oisin. Thank you. Ocean, it's nice to meet you. What's an interesting injury you've had?
I broke my leg.
You wrote, was it also a car door thing? Because I think you guys got to get better at that.
No,
How's your leg now?
it's good, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Anybody else want to introduce themselves and tell us an interesting injury you've had? All right. Well, if anything comes up, how about you, Stacy? We'll go to you.
I have a very, very funny one. One time when my husband was wrestling with our great big black lab, I thought, I want to get in on that. I want to wrestle too. So I stuck my nose in where I shouldn't have. And my husband came back with his elbow and whacked me, and my nose was over here.
No.
I
That
think
sounds
I
terrifying.
think he was more scared than I was, but the doctor put it back to rights. So that was a very funny injury, but it hurt.
Yeah, it sounds like it hurt. I think sometimes it is more scary to watch somebody get injured than it is to be injured too. Looked like maybe Kat. Did you want to introduce yourself too? We'll come up to you guys. We'll do Kat and then Sigurd, and then we'll start in with our lesson. Hi, Kat.
So Kat just wanted to share that she broke her arm earlier this year, falling off the monkey bars.
Falling off the monkey bars. What an adventurous thing to do, first of all, monkey bars. And second of all, how's your arm doing now?
How's your arm doing now?
Good.
Looks good.
Oh, good. Oh, man. Looks like a regular human arm. I'm glad that you're better. And then let's go to Sigrid. Hey, Sigrid, you want to introduce yourself with an interesting injury you've had?
My name is Sigrid, and a very interesting injury I had is in my ankle. My nerve was wrong, so we went to the doctor, and we went to the hospital, and they were like, probably sprained, and then we came back. They said, come back in a few days if it still hurts, and so it still hurt, so I came back. And then they did an x-ray. Then they said broken. And they called the next day and said it wasn't broken.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
yeah, a lot of things happened after that.
But it was just like a weird nerve injury that you had that they thought a bunch of things were wrong, but it was none of those things.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's how it goes. It takes a little while to figure out what's wrong. I actually always find, as a note to us teachers watching and listening in, that asking kids about weird injuries is always a great icebreaker. They always have weird things to tell you, and you guys did not disappoint today. That was great. Thank you all for bravely telling us weird things that have happened to you, and that I'm really glad everybody's okay now. Okay, so let's start in a little bit with our project, because the project we're going to do today is actually this muscles and bones working model of bones and muscles and figuring out how they work out together and how they work together. So this original project was made by Brett Slezak, who is a teacher. He was working with middle schoolers right around Pittsburgh. And the original project, he gave each group a different joint. So one group had an elbow, one group had a knee, one group had a shoulder, things like that. And they had to model that joint and get it to work. And so he was working with cardboard and also a hummingbird. So the kids had to animate it as well. Do we have a comment coming in, Matt?
At the moment, no comments.
Oh,
Things are
okay.
pretty quiet on Facebook.
All right, cool. You were looking around, so I want to make sure that we were good. Okay, so in order to make your muscles and bones project, whether you have a hummingbird at home or whether you're just working with craft supplies, let's take a look at the craft supplies that you will need. So you're going to need some cardboard. I have a nice big sheet of cardboard that used to be a moving box, but is now my favorite craft material. So you'll need some cardboard. You'll need some tape and scissors. We need those every time. You'll need like a brad, which is this thing. It's like a little metal brad with these little two pieces that can come apart like that. That's going to be what the center of what holds the elbow together. But if you don't have a brad, you could also use a paper clip. That works just great too. Some people got really creative with what they used last time. So Karis is showing us some paper clips. If you've got some paper clips like Karis has, we're going to spotlight her. Those are perfect. You might want to take them apart so they're not a chain anymore. But other than that, they're good to go. Okay, so you'll want a brad or a paper clip. You'll want a popsicle stick if you're doing the one that is not a robot. If you're doing the one that's a robot, you won't really need the popsicle stick part. But you will need some string. I found that string even works a little bit more like a muscle than a pipe cleaner does. But you could also use a pipe cleaner. That's what the one behind me is made out of, is pipe cleaners. And then if you're doing the non-robot one, you'll also need a pencil or a chopstick or a knitting needle, something like that. So I'm going to put a little star next to popsicle stick and pencil or chopstick. If you're doing the robot one, you don't need those. But if you're doing the non-robot one, you'll need those or something like them. All right. So I'm going to go grab the one from behind me, and we're just going to take a look at how this thing is put together, so that if you want to start making it at home, we're going to kind of go through it a little bit step by step. But if you want to just start making it, you can. So I'm going to take this one off the back wall really quick. So one moment. It's going to stop working for a second.
And we have a question from Gail. She's wondering if we should use big brads or small brads. What do you think, Kelsey?
I think actually either one is probably fine. Doesn't really matter the size of your brad. If you have a bigger brad, you get to make a bigger bone. So maybe yours, instead of an elbow, maybe yours, if you've got a big brad, will be a knee or something like that. So I'm going to take a look at this project right here to just kind of see how it's put together. So we've got two different bones. This one is like a forearm and an upper arm here, like that. And they're held together with this brad here, like so. So lower arm, upper arm. And if you were going to make yours into a knee, let's see how bendy Kelsey is. This is a terrible idea. No one should do this, but let's try it. There we go. Pretty impressive, right? Not bad for not having exercise since quarantine started. All right, you could make like a lower leg and an upper leg if you were going to make yours instead of an elbow. Thank you. I'm getting lots of thumbs up. Thanks, Stacy. You can make a lower leg and an upper leg. Maybe you'd want to make yours into a foot, and you do like a foot and a lower leg like that. Maybe that's what joint you'll do. Maybe you'll do one of these joints. What are these? Shoulders. Maybe you'll do a hip joint. Now, when we talked before to Dr. Bambi Brewer, she now works at BirdBrain, but she used to make prosthetic limbs. She told us that not all joints work like this. Like a shoulder joint is actually more like a ball and socket joint. It doesn't just move in two directions. It actually moves in more than one direction. But you can kind of make an approximation. So look on your body and figure out which joint you want to make. All right? Cool. So it's really just two pieces of cardboard held together with a brad, and then one string or pipe cleaner will be attached on the top side of your project, and one string or pipe cleaner will be attached on the back side. So this is actually the most important part, I think, and the trickiest part. The thing that I didn't know when I started making this project, or that I learned by making this project, is you've got to have a little bit of an overhang here so that there's something else for that muscle. There's another piece of the bone for that muscle to attach to. So, and that's actually true. If you feel your elbow, especially if you like bring it out here, you can feel that little outcropping of bone back here, right? Where your muscle is attached. So you can feel that there. I kind of didn't realize that that was there, but it totally is. So if you want to start making yours right now, you certainly can. If you're making the non-robot version, this is going to be a popsicle stick, and that's what the chopstick is for. It's going to be a popsicle stick attached to a chopstick, and I'll show you how to make that here, that you're going to turn, and it'll bring the joint up and down. If you're making the robot version, it'll be a servo horn in there. So let's get to making, all right? First thing we got to do is cut out 2 strips of cardboard so that they can be bones. So I think I want to make this one into a different joint other than the elbow. I think I'm going to make this one a knee. Let's get weird, shall we? Let's shall. All right. So I'm going to cut out 2 strips of cardboard. One is going to be, now does anybody know what the bones of the leg are called? Do you know what this one's called? Do you know what that one's called? If you do, raise your hand. We'll go to gallery view and see if anybody knows what those bones are called. Does anybody know what any of your leg bones are called? Connor and Sophia, what are some of your leg bones called? Do you know? You're like, nope. Did you have a question?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Did you guys have a question?
No.
Oh, okay.
I said I was completely wrong.
Oh, okay. Peyton, do you know what any of the leg bones are called?
One of them is called the humerus.
The humerus? Let's see.
And the femur.
And the femur. I know the femur is the top one. Where's the humerus? We're doing a quick Google search.
Yeah,
I think the humerus might actually be in your arm. I should not wave a cutting blade around like that. I think the femur's on top. There's going to be one bone. I'm going to make another bone. So as you're cutting these, you can totally like cut them to be that real bone shape. You might do a quick Google search and figure out. I'm going to come back to spotlight us over here real quick, Matt.
Thank you.
Here we go. There we go. So you could really shape these out. You could do a little bit of cutting around them. If I go to my top down, I could really start to shape these like bones. You could kind of cut a curve on here or something. I'm going to let mine just be rectangles just to make it kind of quick so that we can move a little quicker. You can think of what we're doing here today as kind of like making a prototype and then like make it better after we're done. But that way we can make sure to get through everything, get to everything, and get to program at the end as well. So I'm going to put this back up behind me to give me a little bit more workspace and so that you guys can see this working if you're making yours at home. Is anybody making some other joint other than an elbow or a knee? And if so, would you like to share which joint?
And she's not showing how to do it.
Okay. Yep. Is anybody making something other than an elbow or a knee? Or do you want to share which joint you're making? You're going to say, I'm going to make an elbow, or I'm going to make a knee, or I'm going to make a shoulder. How about you? Layla. Hi, Layla. We're going to, can you unmute yourself, Layla? There you go.
I'm going to make an elbow.
You're going to make an elbow. Thanks, Layla. I'm glad. That's a strong model back there you can work from. Great. Okay, so I'm going to put my cardboard off to the side for a minute.
I can take it.
Great. So I've got my...
Sorry. I love this stuff.
I love it.
I'm going to just for a moment, sorry, I glitched out there for a second. I'm going to just for my purposes, I'm going to label them top bone and bottom bone. So this one's going to be bone 1. You don't need to label yours. I'm just doing it so that we can kind of keep things... Actually, this is a thicker bone, so I'm going to make this one bone 1. Bone 1, and this one's going to be bone 2. So this one is going to be the femur, I think. That's the bone that's on the top. And then, Matt, were we able to figure out what the bottom bones were called of the leg?
Draw the bone part on this.
Looking at the tibia and the fibia. The tibia would be in the front, and the fibia is the bone in the back.
Tibia and fibula. Fibula. Great. So these are going to be, there's actually 2 bones in the bottom of your leg. So this is going to be my knee here. All right, cool. So I think I should probably, so let's see. If I look at my elbow example back there, the bottom bone is the one that's going to move. All right, so I'm going to need to kind of overlap these a little bit, like so. I'm going to need to overlap them so that my string is going to attach over here and probably like here. And then I'm going to need to make a hole where these 2 are going to attach. Okay, so I'm going to line these up. This is going to be where my hole is, about there and probably about there. So I need to poke a hole in between these two bones now. So I'm going to make them intersect a little bit. Make one cross over the other so they don't line up exactly. Make one cross over a little bit. And then I'm going to poke a hole here and here. And I'm going to put my brad or my paper clip through there. So there's a bunch of good ways to poke holes in a bone. You could use a cutting blade and make a little X if you wanted to. That's a great way to poke a hole in some cardboard. You could also use your scissors. You could open them up and kind of punch down into your cardboard like that. Or you could also use, if you've got a screwdriver, you could use that to poke a hole as well. So I'm going to poke a hole once with on one of them with my blade and on the other one with my scissors. There we go. Hole poked. Great. And this is what my paper clip or my brad is going to go through. So let me show you with a paper clip. Show you what that might look like. So I could put my paper clip through one. Punch it through. There we go. It's going through one. And then over here it's going to go through the other one. So I could do like so. I might unwind it a little bit like that. Then on the back side, maybe wind it up a little bit again so that it doesn't move. So that's one way you could get these two to move next to each other like that. Or let me show you what that might look like with a brad. Just got to get something through there that will allow the two pieces of cardboard to move against each other, but won't hold them in place. It'll let them rotate around each other. Hey, that's looking great, Peyton. You want to hold yours up to the camera and show us? Yeah, that's looking great. Who else has one that's moving pretty good they want to show off? How about Kimber? Let's show yours off, Kimber. Yeah, that looks good.
I'm using a bread tie.
A bread tie, that's perfect.
I sort of used the same basic principle there. I kind of made a little spiral at the end so they stay in.
So you made a little snarl at one side and a little snarl at the other side so that it could move. Who else has one that they've got that they want to show off? How about you, Layla? Let's look at yours. Ooh, you've got a hand on yours too. That's fancy. Yeah, can you hold yours up? I want to see how you cut the bones.
Oh, wow.
That looks great. Look at that. She's got a
My
hand on
mom
it.
helped me a little bit.
Yeah, moms are really good at helping with things, and that looks really great. I love that, Layla. Nice job. All right.
This is my hand.
That's your hand. Did you trace your hand? Very good. I love it. That's great. All right. So now we've got two bones that are connected by something in the middle that lets them move against each other. Now we need to connect the strings. And we're going to connect the strings to the bottom bone. So for me, the bottom part of the leg is the tibia and the fibula. This is bone number 2. And you're going to connect, so mine is going to move like this. All right? So my string, I'm going to tape it to the back of this bottom bone. And one string goes on the end over here, right there. And the other string is going to connect sort of a little bit further out here so that as they pull against each other, they'll move the bone. So I'm going to flip it over on the back side and I'm going to redraw those little X's. Here we go. So that I know where I want to connect it. One's going to go here and one's going to go about here. So that's where I want to get some string, and I'll measure it out. Now, the thing about string is it's much easier to cut a piece of string shorter than it is to make a longer piece of string. So I'm going to measure out how much string I think I'm going to need, and I'm just going to go ahead and double it because that way I know I'll have enough and I won't accidentally have to tie two pieces of string together, which can be kind of challenging. There we go. So I've got one piece of string that I'm going to tape right onto the back of this bone here. Tear it out. Like that. And this will be one muscle. There we go. Taped. So this is going to represent one of my muscles. And then if I scooch that down, I need another piece of string. That's going to go from the back side of the bone, like the other side of the joint. One muscle, one piece of string is going to go on one side of the joint, and one muscle or piece of string is going to go on the other side. And then again, I'm going to measure out about how much string I think I need, which is like here, and I'm going to double it because it's easier to cut string shorter. If you don't need it all, you don't got to use it all. All right. You don't want to like use too much string, right? But a little extra is a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to move this around a little bit so that I can tape this on here. And I'm going to tape it on. I don't want it coming off the bottom. I want it probably coming out the back side here. I might tape a little smaller. There we go. Extra tape. So now if I flip it back around, ooh, look at there. I could start to see how when I pull this string over here, that's going to make the legs straighten. And when I pull this string here, that's going to make the leg bend. Straighten and bend. You can start to do this with your string now as you lay it down on a table or something to get just the basic joint to work. So this is really kind of how joints work. As you guys are finishing up taping, let me kind of show you on my arm here. On your body, the way that works is that if I use my arm as an example, as my bicep, if I flex my arm, if somebody says, show me your muscles, they're saying, make your bicep big, usually. If I make my bicep shorter, like that, that gets shorter, that muscle gets shorter, and this one, my tricep on the bottom, that muscle gets longer at the same time. It relaxes a little bit. And then this one, if I really tense that muscle back there, this one gets longer up here. So this muscle gets shorter, and then this muscle gets shorter. This one, and then that one. So muscles generally work in pairs or groups like that. It's called complementary, so they complement each other, complementary muscle groups. So like the bicep and the tricep, those work together to make your forearm go up and down. Same thing here, you've got a muscle up here and a muscle down there, and that's what makes your leg extend and flex. So does anybody have one they want to show us? Let's go back to gallery view. Show us what's working about your muscle right now. It looks like Kimber's got one. She's got kind of working. Yeah. Yeah. So as you're pulling on the string that's on the back of it there, perfect. That's straightening it out. Now you want to add another string to the front of it. So you've got your string, if I go back to this view, you've got one string connected back here. You've got that one, great. But you got to connect another string up here because that's what's going to pull it up as well. So make sure you get two of those. Let's see, who's at the tropical place? I can't see your name for some reason, but...
that is JJ.
Oh, JJ. Can we see yours, JJ? You want to hold it up to the camera? There we go, yeah. So it's moving. You've got do you have something holding it together in the middle there?
A paper clip.
A paper clip, perfect. And so you're at the point where you're going to attach your strings on now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. We'll check in with you in just a minute. How about Layla and Felice? That might be Felice right in front of the camera. Hi, Felice. Let's see how yours is going, Layla.
Add line.
Oh, hi.
Wait.
There you go. You've got some strings.
String.
Great. Let me show you. We'll come back to my top down here so you can see it. So one piece of string is going to go kind of in the middle of your bottom bone here. And one piece of string.
This. I made you. So.
Yeah. So your bottom bone, the one with the hand on it, one piece of string, both of these are going to attach to the one with the hand on it. So one's going to go in the middle, if this was the hand over here.
The middle?
One's going to go there, and then one's going to come off the back of that bone.
Here.
Let me see. Let's go back up to you, Layla. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Tape it right there. You got it. Uh-huh. There you go. How's yours going, Peyton? Let's check in on you. How's your string taping going? Yeah, looks good. And then pull that other one. Yeah, great. Which joint are you doing? Do you want to unmute yourself and tell us which joint you're modeling?
Okay, and the other one goes in this corner.
The elbow? Or
The
the
one
knee?
goes in this corner.
The elbow.
Elbow. Cool. I like that. Great.
Yeah, but we can always cut it.
I'm sorry. So Peyton does have a humerus on his model.
Yeah, you've got the humerus on your model, right?
That's right.
Because you've got I think the humerus is one of, it's this one up here.
The upper arm.
It's the upper arm there. Cool.
So
That's
when
great.
one's shorter.
All right. So let me show you what the next step will be. Oh, it looks like Connor and Sophia might have a question or might have something to show us. Let's go to you, Connor and Sophia.
So you can pull this one.
Mine I use pipe cleaner currently.
Cool.
This one goes like that, and this one the bottom.
Okay, she hasn't done this part yet.
I
so you
use
wait until-
string.
No, don't cut it
You're
yet.
using
because you
string
don't
on yours, right?
short.
Yeah.
If you cut it too short,
It's a
then
bit
you
hard
have
to
to start over. So wait until
Goes
She
that one
tells
makes
you.
it go up, and then this one This one makes it go
Great.
down.
Yeah. Well, when we finally attach this to something, you'll totally see how that works, and it'll work a little bit better. That's great.
Is my string too long? It's like
Too long is good. Too long is good right now because we can always cut it shorter. It's probably a little too long, but we'll cut it shorter later. That's a problem for future Connor. We're gonna get to him. Okay. All right. So we'll come back to our model over here. So as you guys are finishing with your strings, now's the point where if you're making a robot one or a non-robot one, this is the part that'll be different. So I'm going to go ahead and show you both so that if you have a hummingbird or if you have a little motor that you want to use at home, you can make a robotic arm or leg or joint, whatever joint you're making. But if you don't have a hummingbird at home, you can make a non-robot one.
And Kelsey, before we switch over to the robotic model, can we take a look real quick at the back of your model?
Oh,
We had
yeah.
a question from Gail. Just wanted to see it a little closer.
Totally. Let me show you. So I'll show you. Take one more look at how these strings are attached on the back of the arm. One of them is just taped on here, kind of coming straight off the top of this bottom bone here, and the other one's coming out of the back of the other side there. So I just taped them on back there. Yeah. Thanks for asking that. Okay. So, we had a quick question from Peyton too. Let's go to you, Peyton.
For the future, where do you get a hummingbird machine?
That's a really good question. I'll put that up here right now. You can get a hummingbird from our website here, which is birdbraintechnologies.com/robotics at home. You can get it really from anywhere on birdbraintechnologies.com, but you can purchase a hummingbird and we'll ship anywhere in the world. So wherever you are, whether you're in the United States or not, you can order a hummingbird and get it at home within definitely within 2 weeks, sometimes even within a couple of days. So you can order one there if you want. Yeah. Let's go to Layla. I think Layla had a quick question as well.
So
Looks like you're taping your pipe cleaners on. You want to hold it up and show us how you taped it on there?
do you put the things in the back? Do you put the tape
On the back or on the front? Your placement there is perfect. That looks great, Layla. They can go on the back of the arm or on the front of the arm. Doesn't really matter. Just depends what you want it to look like. So, yeah. That looks really good, Layla.
I'm going to make it wave.
Yeah. Once we get it attached to that popsicle stick or to the motor, you'll see yours is gonna work really good, Layla. All right. So, we are gonna mute everybody real quick. We're gonna mute everybody real quick, and we'll come back to spotlight me up here. So now, let me show you if you're doing the non-robot version, what you're gonna do next. This is where your pipe cleaner and your chopstick are gonna come into play. Pipe cleaner and your chopstick, it's their time to shine if you're making the non-robot version. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to attach this string to one side, each string to one side of the popsicle stick. That's what we're going to get to, so that as we spin the popsicle stick, it will move the arm or the knee or the whatever it is up and down. But we've got to get that attached to this chopstick or this pencil or whatever you've got. Pencil could be great here too. Could use either one of those. So to do that, we're going to grab a little bit of extra cardboard. I'm going to grab a cardboard scrap. You don't need a nice piece of cardboard. You just need a piece of cardboard for this part. I'm going to cut it into a square here so that I just have a little piece of cardboard like so. Perfect. So you grab a little piece of cardboard like that, and then you can poke a little hole in that cardboard right in the middle. Oh, I shouldn't do that on my wood. I should do that on my cutting mat. And you're going to poke your pencil or chopstick or whatever it is that you've got. You're going to poke it through there like so. And then we're going to tape it on there. So without taping it on, you'll notice it kind of falls to the side a little bit. It's a little, yeah, that doesn't do what I want it to do. I want it to stick straight out of there like this. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape to do that. And this is a tape technique that you'll have seen us use a whole bunch of times. Really easy to do. I'll poke it through. I'm going to tape sort of flat along the base or the cardboard along the cardboard, and then up the stick or the pencil or whatever it is. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. Grab another piece of tape and put it right along. Now, I don't want that to stick too far out the other side. I want it to kind of be flat along that other side there. There we go. There we go. And I'll make it be flat along the cardboard and tape up the side of the thing. There we go. So now I've got, and I can kind of bend over any sticky parts that are exposed there and really secure it down with my fingers, fix any mistakes that I made. All right, so now there we go. We've got a pencil or a chopstick or whatever it is stuck at a 90-degree angle to a piece of cardboard. All right, so poke it through, tape it on from the other side like that, and then you'll put your craft stick on. So once I've got that on there, I'm going to tape this craft stick on here. And again, you can think of this like your prototype or your practice round. So if this doesn't look the most beautiful when we're done, you can make it look prettier at home. Okay, so I've taped my craft stick on like so. Now comes the point where I'm going to poke a hole through the top of the arm because I want this to end up being kind of right back there. So it's going to all be one piece. So I need to poke a hole through the top of the arm here. And again, this is just if you're doing the non-robotic version. If you're doing the robot version, I'll show you that in just a minute. But I'm going to poke a hole through the top of the arm here. There we go. And poke my thing through there. All right. Then the last part is to attach your string. So I'm going to fully extend the joint, and I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see what I've done here. So I've got my craft stick, my cardboard, my stick, pencil, whatever, poked through the top here. And then I'm going to turn it kind of 90 degrees there. And I'm going to extend my joint all the way and make it straight out. And that's where, and I'm going to kind of turn my stick a little bit like this, that's where I'm going to wrap this around and tape it on. Wrap it around a couple times like so. You could tie a knot in it if you wanted. I'm just going to tape it because that'll be quicker. So I'm going to wrap it around a couple times and tape it on. Before I make it pretty, I just want to make it work. That is a kind of a good rule of thumb in engineering. Before you spend time making it pretty, make something that works. Then go back and make it pretty. So I've got a piece of tape there. And now you can start to see this working because as I pull this up, as I turn this up here, that is making my joint move already. And so now when it's up like this, now here's where I want to attach the other string to the other side of the popsicle stick. So I want to make sure that these strings have some tension, which means that they're kind of pulled tight when I tape them on here. All right, so here's that, and I'm going to tape this one on. Tape that wrappy string on there. There we go. There you go. So now, if I kind of get my extra strings out of the way so you can see what's happening, as I turn this, it's pulling on the back. Now it's pulling on the front, pulling on the one side, pulling on the other side. So these strings are functioning like muscles, and they're pulling the back side, pulling one side, pulling one side, pulling the other side, like so. So let me come check in with you guys on here. If you're making the non-robot version, this is kind of what yours is going to look like, okay? So I'll keep some of these things kind of together here, but take a good look at this. Because now I'm going to look at what the robot version of this will look like and how the motor figures in here. Anybody have any questions about this non-robot one if you're making this one? All right. So let me take this one apart now. I'm going to untape what I've done. Looking good, everybody. I love my favorite part of class, of teaching regular class in brick and mortar school, which is a hilarious term, which I think is surprisingly fitting right now. Brick and mortar school is like when everybody's working, when everybody's like got their heads down and working. And I love that there are so many opportunities for that in these classes. So if you're making the robot version, you're back here. And so now is when we need to get a motor from our Hummingbird kit. And you want to get a position servo motor. So let me grab my kit, show you what I mean. Okay, so I've got my Hummingbird kit here. You can either get a premium kit like I've got here, or you might get a base kit. Either one of those works. And you're going to want to grab one of these little black box things that is a motor. So you'll want to grab the one, if you've got the bigger motors like this, you'll want to grab the one that says position on the side. Not the one that says rotation, grab the one that says position. Or if you've got a base kit, your motor might be small and blue and look like that, and that is cool too. Either one of those, they are the same thing. This one's just a little bit smaller. So you'll want to grab a servo horn, which are these little black or white things. Those pop onto this thing right here. And so you can see when it's not attached to a hummingbird, we can turn that and it'll stop because it's a position servo. It doesn't go all the way around. So then the thing you will do with your motor, you can use any shape. I like the one with 2 arms on it because it makes it easy to figure out where the strings go. One string is going to go here and one string is going to go here. But then you're going to cut a hole in your top bone here. You're going to cut a hole that motor is going to go into. So the easiest and best way to cut a hole is to kind of put your motor on there, trace around the bottom side of it like so. Like that. And then cut it out. Cut it out. If you are a 90s kid like me, you watched that show. Now I'm going to cut on the inside of the lines I just drew. I'm not cutting on the outside of them. I'm cutting on the inside so that I get a nice secure motor mount because I kind of want it to be like wedged in there. All right, so I've got that. Might need to do a little additional cutting from the back to get all the way through there. There we go. Okay, now that should poke out. There we go. Great. And so now you can put your motor in there. There we go. I've fed it through with the wire first, and now it's poking out the front. And these little wings on here, those are what make it stay in place there. And then I'm going to kind of move my motor around a little bit so I can see kind of how it's mounted on here. It's got 180 degrees of turn, so it'll go from here all the way to the other side. And I think I want that, let's see, probably want that to be like all the way one way, and then it'll go all the way the other way. All right, you can adjust that once you get it on there, but you'll tie one part of your string to one side over here, and you can tape it or put a little bit of hot glue there, and you'll put the other side of your string, I'm going to like pull it all the way up, and then it'll go down like that. This acts as your craft stick, although if you wanted to give it a little bit more pull, you could also put a craft stick on there. You could hot glue a craft stick on there or tape a craft stick on there, and as that moves with your motor like this, that'll pull your muscles and bones up and down. So if you're doing the hummingbird version of this, you just have one motor on there and you tie your strings either directly to the servo horn, or you can put something on there like a craft stick to increase the radius of your circle. We can get into math for a minute, and it gets to move a little bit more. It makes a bigger impact. So as you guys are finishing that, it's about 2:45, which is perfect because right about 15 minutes before the end of our session, I like to give people a chance, if they want to code our robot that we have here in the studio, to do that. So before I do that though, let me check in on everybody. Give me a number quick, 0 to 5. how's your project going at the moment? 0 is like, I don't know where I am. I'm so lost. 5 is like, it's going pretty well. I'm on a good track. Show me a number really quick. How you doing? Super lost. Feeling great. Okay, cool. All right. So I don't see any 0s out there, so I feel like you guys are feeling good. I love to do that as a quick, like, formative assessment to see how people are doing. Layla's looking good at a 3. That's great. Okay. So continue making yours, but if you want to program this arm robot behind me, I'm going to go grab it and put a battery pack on it, and we're going to give you guys remote control of this robot if you want to. So keep working on your projects while I reset this one so that you guys can code it from home and control our robot here from home if you want to. I'm going to clear my workspace a little bit, put my sharp things away. I think I said this last time, but I had a parent ask recently, when you do all these maker activities, it makes such a huge mess. How do you deal with all the mess? And I was just like, yep, it sure does. How do you deal with any mess? You make it and then you clean it up, you know? And for any of you kids who are making out there, don't make your parents do all the cleanup. The cleanup's not the fun part. You gotta help them clean up too. Throw all your scraps away, any stuff you didn't use, put back, you know? If we want to do fun stuff, we gotta clean up after it, you know? That's like the summer that I was a summer camp counselor, and my kids, I asked them what they wanted to do that summer, and they really wanted to do a car wash, which we totally did, and they also really wanted to have a food fight. So we did that too, and it was a huge mess, and there was spaghetti all over the playground, and there was Jell-O in everyone's hair, and it was fabulous. But I told them, I was like, the one condition of us having an actual food fight here at the school is that it has to be outside, and also it has to be, you guys have to help me clean up. Like, we'll have a food fight for as long as the food lasts, but you have to help me clean up. And they were like, okay, cool. And they did. They were really cool. So I'm going to switch out some of the pieces on this robot right here. I'm going to switch out the motor, and I'm going to put it onto a different robot. There we go. So that you guys can code it. And grab a battery pack, because robots need power, just like us. We drink food. Robots have batteries. Okay, 1, 2. Got it. I'm going to switch this guy out. 1. Oh, I'll turn it on.
We had a request for somebody who wants to see what you're up to right now.
Oh, that's a good question. Shouldn't keep that part hidden, should I? Let me show you what I'm doing. Shouldn't do this in the dark. So I just, I plugged a motor in over here. That's the motor that's going to control the arm. That's this motor right here. So I plugged this in the back, and I'm plugging it in. This is an LED that I'm plugging into port 1, and then I'm going to plug the other LED into port 2, and Matt, I believe, just connected to that robot from his computer. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So if you want to remotely control this robot, you're going to get control of Matt's computer where he has programmed this thing, and you will get to make it go. All right, I'll switch our camera.
Okay.
Ooh, I'll zoom out a little bit. Great. All right, so let's go to gallery view really quick and raise your hand if you want to control this robot. Looks like Peyton wants to do it. Peyton, you want to do it? Okay, unmute yourself, Peyton. Do you want me to put that on a box, Matt, so that it's got someplace to go?
Yes, please. That would be
Okay,
helpful.
let me do that. Because this robot is designed pretty cool in that the arm can kind of go a little bit like lower than that. Yeah, there we go. Oops. Cool. Something that I've heard a lot about from people is they like how you can kind of see us putting stuff together here. So, get to kind of see. There we go. Sweet. Okay. Hey, Peyton, have you ever done any coding before, Peyton?
I think we've done coding in like computer class sometimes.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, you're going to be so ready to do this. It's going to be super simple, super easy. So do you see, if you like go to gallery view on Zoom, Matt just started sharing his screen. All right. And so what he's going to do, Peyton, is he's going to give you control of his screen so that with your computer, are you on a computer or an iPad?
Computer.
Cool. Perfect. So on your computer, you're going to get control of his computer, and you can use your mouse and use your stuff to control his computer. So try and press the up and down arrow once you get that remote control. Does she have remote control, Matt?
Peyton has remote control.
Peyton has remote control. So press the up and down arrow on your computer and see what it does to the robot arm. Can you see the robot
Like
arm?
on the keys?
Yeah, on your keys, exactly.
Okay. I'm pushing them.
Push the up arrow and the down arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay, so that might have been me. Hey, Peyton.
Yeah?
Would you mind moving your mouse around? Let's see if it controls my mouse. Waiting for Peyton to take control of your screen. So if you could move your mouse a little bit, is it?
Yeah, it's moving.
Your mouse is moving. So Matt gave you control of the screen, but you also have to accept it. Did you accept control of Matt's screen? Is there a thing that's
I can't remember.
I'm gonna stop sharing real quick, and then I'll start sharing again. We'll see if this.
Okay.
Right.
Give it another go.
There we go. Share.
Okay.
And then I have controls here, and we're gonna hand over control to Peyton. Try it one more time. So let's see if that helps.
So now if you move your mouse around, does it move the mouse around on Matt's screen? Let's see. Can you move your finger around on your control pad?
It's not doing anything.
It says you can control robots, the robot screen, but there's no option.
So if you try to move your mouse around, it's not moving his mouse around at all?
No.
Oh, weird. We haven't had that happen before. This is only about the maybe 4th time that we've tried this remote control thing through Zoom, because it's a little bit easier. But I wonder if you guys can... Oh, what was that?
Peyton, if it's okay with you, maybe we'll try to let Kimber do it real quick, because it has worked on Kimber's system before. And if Kimber's able to get it to work, then we know that'll give us some clues as to what the problem might be.
Yeah. So. And also, if you can stay after class for a minute, that always sounds like you're in trouble, but you're not. We'll give you another shot after we're done with our stream, too. All right. Hey, Kimber. You ready to take control?
Yep.
All right.
Let's see.
All right. So do you have control of Matt's screen now?
There it is.
Yep. All right. Yep. So try and hit the up and down arrow. Yeah, leave it at Hummingbird B, and try and hit the...
Yeah, saying if I could do anything.
Yeah, and then hit the up and down arrow on your keyboard and see what that does. Does it do anything?
It'll probably take a second.
Oh, okay. Usually it's pretty immediate. Or can you try clicking on the when up arrow? Oh, there we go. Went down. Went up. Nice.
And how long is the delay there, Kimber? Is it pretty quick?
Yeah.
I'd say about a half a second or a second or something. Something like that.
So it's between a half a second and a second delay. All right, so you got the arm moving. You know, there's something else on this project, though. I'm actually going to zoom out just a little bit so that you can maybe see it a little bit better, because there's LEDs as well. And I want to see if you can get these LEDs to light up. So if you go over to looks, and the purple stuff, and scroll down a little bit to the bottom, all the hummingbird stuff's at the bottom. I think it's that top one, not that one. Yeah, that one. Drag that out.
I'm gonna throw these things away.
Yeah, okay. And then snap that up there and change it to Hummingbird B. And then let's set it at 100% and see what happens when you hit the up arrow. See which one of these bad boys turns on. All right. Hit the up arrow. Let's find out which one this is. Oh, it's the tricep. All right. So we actually probably, if we were going to code this, we would want the bicep to light up when it goes up. So we'd probably want LED 2. I'm bringing it over here. LED 2 to be on when it's up, and LED 1, which is over here, to be off when it's up. There we go. Yeah, you just turned that one on. Can you see that green one came on? Yeah, great. Bring that up. What else do you need to switch? Yep. And then let's turn that one on.
And JJ, as Kimber is coding, I did receive your request for screen control.
You want to try it next? Because there's something we got to add to it. Because now these two things are on, but what I want JJ to do, look, first of all, Kimber, round of applause. Very nice job. You added the next step to our program here of turning these things on. But what I want JJ to do, we're going to, if you can pause for just a second there, Kimber. Matt's going to take control away from you. You got to let him have his mouse, though. All right. So, if you can, not touch your mouse, Kimber. Matt's going to take his control back because we're going to give it to JJ now. All right. There we go.
Let's see.
Let's see. So we're going to stop our share, and then we're going to give control to JJ. Now, JJ, can you unmute so we can hear you? Where are you, JJ? Because you got to finish out our code here. Let's see.
Oh, JJ may have left.
Oh, JJ may have accidentally left. Bummer.
That's too bad.
Does anybody else want to finish out our code? Because we need to figure out a way to turn these lights off as well. Does anyone else want to give it a go, trying to finish out the code here? And actually, I'm looking at time. It's pretty close to the end of time. So, Matt, would you stop screen share? Actually, let's go to Karis. Hey, Karis. We're going to unmute you. There you go. You know how to do it. And Matt is going to give you remote control of his screen.
He has it?
Oh, you've got it.
Yeah.
So try and hit the up and down arrows, Karis, and let's see what happens. On your keyboard, hit the up and down arrows.
Sorry, the keyboard? Here.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Not working? Can you try to move the mouse, Karis?
I am.
You may be having the same problem that that Peyton was having. We'll have to get to the bottom of this one.
I do coding on Scratch.
You do coding on Scratch at school. That's great. Well, do you want to stop screen share, Matt? Because we had a really good question in the comments. And that question was, hey, can you share the link to the remote coding? Because that's how we've done it in the past. But the way that we did it today, we didn't share any links to this code. Matt, as you can see, Matt the robot is one of the people logged into our Zoom class. He logs in from back there. He was coding on Scratch, and then we gave remote control of his screen to other people who were also on, on Snap. Let me start that sentence over. Matt, back there, was coding on Snap, and he gave remote control of his entire computer to a few different kids here. So it's a little bit easier to set up, but as you see, there might be some bumps in the road as well there. So just a couple things to finish us out here today. I'd love to see, looks like Kat and Elise have theirs working. Can we look at your leg? Can you show us that again, Kat and Elise? I'd love to show everybody what you
wow.
Can we spotlight that? That's awesome. Is that a leg or is that a hand? Oh, it's a hand.
It's a hand, but we need to work on the programming.
Yeah, it looks like you're moving the whole upper arm with it as well. So you want the upper arm to stay in place so that it'll just move the lower arm. And you guys are using MakeCode to program, right?
Yes.
Cool. That's great. Let's go to Peyton. Let's show your non-robot one. Your craft supply only one. Yeah, that's great. That looks awesome, Peyton. So as they're turning that, it's raising the bottom bone up and down. That's great, Peyton. Nice work. That is so cool. Who else has one they want to show off? Looks like Connor and Sophia might have one, and then we'll go to Karis. So Connor and Sophia, let's take a look at yours. Yeah.
I did a non-robot one, and Connor, don't need to hold it.
There it is.
I love how you guys labeled the pipe cleaners with the muscle that it is. So one of them is the bicep and one of them is the tricep. That was so smart. Did you do that with tape?
I put a piece of cardboard on the pipe cleaners.
Cool. That's awesome. Let's check in with Karis because I think Karis had one she wanted to show as well. Do you want to hold yours up?
Working on it.
You're working on it. Okay, I'm working on it, she says. Well, then let's go to Kimber because Kimber has one she's holding up and wants to show off real quick. So we'll check in on Kimber and then we'll check in on Layla and we'll see hers because oh yeah. Nice. That looks so good, Kimber. That's really working. And you're even holding it like, I would say like, you know, upside down from the perspective that I started with. And because you've got those two muscles, they're pulling on opposite sides. That is so cool. I love how that works. That's great. Let's go to, who was our other person we were going to check in with?
Layla.
Layla, that's right, Layla. We're going to come look at yours, Layla. I want to see what you got.
This one's an elbow.
Yeah.
Well, this part's the elbow.
That's right. The joint is the elbow, and you've got.
Because you can't bend your arm the other way without breaking.
That's right. That's right. It only goes one way. That is so good. Nice job, Layla. I'm so proud of you. That's so wonderful. Well,
so
if
this
you.
is the elbow.
That's the elbow. That's right. Just that joint part. So to finish us out here today, if you want to do things with robots at home on your own, you can do that by going to this website, birdbraintechnologies.com/robotics at home. And there you can find cool projects like our arm here, or like the robot petting zoo, or like the moving masterpieces. All kinds of different projects exist on this website right here. Plus, you can find courses so that you can teach yourself how to use your Hummingbird at home, whether you're using it with a tablet or an iPad or a computer or a Chromebook. We have courses that you can watch that are all free and geared towards kids and parents and teachers so that you can teach yourself to use these at home. If you have any questions about anything, we are here to answer any questions you might have. You can visit us, info@birdbraintechnologies.com. You can email us there. Any questions you might have, especially if you want to get a hummingbird at home, you can do that from the site here. You can also ask us about it here, whichever you'd prefer. And we would love to see what you guys make with your hummingbird or with your craft supplies at home. We'd love to see the joint that you make, the hand tracing or the foot tracing that you did. So you can share that with us on social media. You can tag BirdBrain Tech @BirdBrainTech or hashtag Hummingbird Kit. You can do that on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. So from all of us at BirdBrain Technologies, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll end our live stream here, but anybody else who's on Zoom, if you want to stick around, we can answer some questions. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today. We can't wait to see what you make on social media. On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, you can tag @BirdBrainTech or hashtag HummingbirdKit, or you can even tag me. If you have any questions, be sure to email us, info@birdbraintechnologies.com. We can answer questions about purchasing, about learning, about teaching, and about professional development. If you haven't been there yet, be sure to visit our Robotics at Home page. There you can purchase a kit for yourself, learn how to use it, and even join one of our upcoming webinars. Until we see you in class, thanks for watching from everyone at BirdBrain Technologies.